Hi, I'm Rachel Whitefield, certified life coach, and with me is our resident patriarchy pulverizer, Jackie Black. Thank you for joining us on another fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent
Spellbound with Black.
and Whitefield.
Rachel,
Yes, ma'am.
it is Christmas time. We are officially in December.
Yes, we are.
I am so ready for this year to be over, quite frankly,
I
because it's been a long one.
It has been quite a long year. I'm very excited for 2026, but we do have to wrap up this year with
hmm
our regularly scheduled podcast.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. So I guess let's just talk about what we're drinking because I'm not drinking whiskey because I brought up that it was December and that it was
Mhm.
Christmas time because
Yeah.
I am going to drink some Baileys. Baileys.
Bailey's, yes.
Spoilers. But
Um,
the best part is
mhm.
about my Baileys is that I'm going to drink it out of the most festive cup I could find. The
Yes.
moose
The
from
the
National
Christmas
Lampoons.
Vacation Moose Cup, which I also happen to have as well.
Please stop.
Twinsies. Yes. So, and that was a surprise. You were like, look the cup I'm drinking out of. And I said, I have those too.
I know. I was
So
like, go get it.
we have a somewhat serious topic today, but we are going to be so ridiculous just holding the antlers, drinking.
And sipping from our cups while we talk about you guys.
Hold on, before
We're
we get
talking. Oh yeah, what are you
Yeah.
drinking?
You are drinking Bailey's. I am drinking an oldie but a goodie. A little festive as well. Dough ball cookie dough whiskey. Whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. So I have dough
I
ball.
I love dough ball, and it always reminds me of like where we came from. That's
Expand
it.
on that.
Like where we started. It was what we featured dough ball in one of our very first episodes. And it just reminds me so much of like right at the beginning, how we all started and how far we've come and how
That,
close we've gotten. And I just love it. When I taste it, I get very, very I get verklempt because I just love you so much.
I just love you so much. And I also have, it's not a show without it, the fancy sprinkles champagne gold rose gold
Oh my God,
glitter.
look at it.
I know.
Oh,
If you're an audio listener, please go to YouTube. It
yes.
is so beautiful. I went a little heavy-handed. Ooh, okay. It's like all down here in the little moose stem. But yes, she's so pretty.
Sparkly.
Oh.
She's sparkly. And like I was saying earlier, it's going to be really hard for us to keep today's episode as serious. In our last episode, we definitely left off on a cliffhanger, like we've been doing lately, because our episodes have kind of just sort of tied together.
Mhm.
Talking about the patriarchy, we talked about in our last episode about my leaving the dating scene and mentioning the patriarchy. So that's what we're going to talk about today, but not like crazy, not
Mhm.
like down with the patriarchy. We're actually going to talk about why it's bad for men. What
Yes,
we've seen in men lately has just been so much. It's just been, is evidentiary a word?
we're gonna make it one.
It is today. It's evidentiary of why the patriarchy is so bad for men too. Like, can we just get rid of it now and let the matriarchy have a rise? Because so far, it's not doing these dudes any justice.
Yes, and I would say of course, we do live in a patriarchal society. Like men made the laws, they kept us from voting,
Yeah,
all yada yada yada. Like as women, it's like we know the patriarchy hurts us.
yeah. Well, let's get into it. But first, Clinkies.
Clinkies. Clinkies.
Clinkies. Mm.
Mm.
We don't look silly at all drinking out of these. I feel like
That's
this is
good.
very serious.
Nothing like drinking flavored cookie dough flavored whiskey out of a moose cup with glitter.
Yeah, classy, Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And every time I drink Bailey's, I have to say, Bailey's, like salad fingers from YouTube back in the day. Millennials have a weird humor.
Okay, let's
We
just
just,
not do that on this episode, please.
no, the Bailey's. Okay, I won't.
Get it
I
out of your
won't do it
system. We're
over.
good.
It's out. It's
We're good.
out.
We're good.
Let's, let's just get to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
How the patriarchy hurts men, too.
I literally have a list of things that I have seen And
Hmm.
here's the thing, I'm a mom of a boy,
Yeah.
and I've seen it affect him too. And I almost feel kind of guilty because I was a young mom that was in the early 2000s, and I feel like I had kids in my pick me era, and I might have even pushed some of these effects onto my own child because I wasn't aware of it at that point.
And also, I'm going to say, you don't know what you don't know, and give yourself a
Right.
little bit of grace. And this is also 20 years ago, and we weren't talking about it then.
No, we weren't. Not like we are today. We're so much
Hmm.
more educated now as
And
women when
because
it comes to like that.
we didn't have the outlets like TikTok, you would just say, "This is how I feel," and then you can find a whole community. Like our
Yep.
community growing up was very small, and then the
Yep.
world was smaller for us then.
Yep. That's
Because we are
exactly right.
elder millennials, so
Yeah. Yes. The world was much smaller, or well, not smaller. I feel like it was bigger. I feel like the world is smaller now because we have access to all these sources of information. That's the way I picture it in my head. You know?
yeah. But I mean, like we're from a small town. A lot of people
Yeah.
like thought the same. So it's like maybe we're just from a
Yeah.
small
I get it.
area. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think the most glaringly obvious
Hmm.
thing that the patriarchy does to men is they don't have any kind of emotional freedom
Yeah.
at all.
Hmm.
It's either anger or humor, or that's pretty much it. Like,
And I feel like men or the patriarchy in general,
mhm.
like they have labeled anger as not an emotion. Like again, you can
Yeah,
be happy, it can be funny, you can be neutral, or like anger because, and I think a lot of feelings because they don't know how to label them or identify them or work through them. And it's like all they know how to do is lash out in anger because that's almost like the only thing that was allowed for them,
yeah,
And so they're
because
like, yeah,
they're
anger is not an emotion, but go punch a hole in the wall.
Kyle.
Chad.
Kyle and Chad are like, dang, stray bullet.
Sorry
Um,
for any Kyle and Chad listeners out there.
yeah, no, I'm not. She might be. I'm not. Um, I also hate like the lack of emotional freedom has like ingrained in boys like they can't cry.
Yes.
Like it's almost embarrassing for them to cry.
Hmm.
They can't have an emotional reaction to movies. They can't have an emotionally, especially around other men,
Yeah.
you know. And I've also heard men say that they can't cry around other women because they've been put down or made fun of or something like that. And I think that's also something that like we're going to have to start changing. Like we need to allow them to be more emotionally free
And let's
once
back
they
up.
figure out how to regulate it, of course.
Yeah, you were talking about like you were in your pick me era, early 20s when you started having children. And so you're like, I put these on my son. Like, do you think that this was one of them? Did you ever say, suck it up?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was like, hey, you gotta, boys. I think I remember feeling like I said, boys don't cry. Like, calm down. Boys don't cry. Like,
Mm.
trying to like get him to stop crying, really.
Yeah.
But my son, who is also very, he's a cancer. Cancer men are just so fucking emotional. Jesus
Mm.
Christ. That is, and as a grown man himself, he will say, yes, we are. Um, but it is something that I did say at one point
Hmm.
to help him stop crying. You know what I'm saying? To help him regulate his emotions. And now I regret it because I feel like boys do cry. Boys should be fucking crying, first of all.
Yes. In my experience of like boys don't cry, I have my ex-husband is English. He's
Yeah.
straight off the plane from England. And
Yeah.
so he always said, like, it's always stiff upper lip.
Yes.
England has an iron fist and a velvet glove. Like, you have to be hard on the inside, even if you have proper manners on the outside.
Mm,
And so it's just like you have to have this really like steely inside.
yeah.
And I was married to him for 13 years, and I've never seen that man cry until we were going through our divorce. And a lot of childhood trauma that I never knew about and things. And it was just like he had never let it out. And then finally, when he did, it was an avalanche of emotions that he didn't know how to regulate or tolerate. He's like, a puppy in a car commercial will make me just break down now because it had been pent up for, 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's like when before we broke up, he was going on deployment. It was first deployment, and I dropped him off at the dock. He was in the Navy. And
Hmm.
we were saying he was outside of the car and like he was at my driver's side window and stuff. And I'm like, we were saying goodbye for the last time for months. We weren't going to see each other. And I got a chin quiver. And I was like, oh, that man loves me.
Yeah.
But if the only emotion I've ever gotten out of my husband in 13 years is a chin quiver,
Red flag.
right? Like, and again, that is his own emotional walls that he has to break down. You can't do it for somebody, you know? But again, like you said, like some men have had a bad experience with women. And again, women are not a monolith, but it's just like to want to be vulnerable finally with someone. You think it's a safe space and
Yeah.
it's not. And I'm not shitting on women, but it's just like
No.
I want to make I always would say, and this is where I would hit a wall with my husband sometimes. I would say, I am a whole and complete person.
Hmm.
I have a broad spectrum of emotions, as do you, and I will never apologize for them.
Hmm.
And so it's like if I'm sad, I'm going to be sad. If I'm angry, I'm going to be angry. If I'm happy, I'm going to be happy. If I'm lonesome, I'm going to be lonesome. Like whatever it is. But it's also like I know it's difficult for them to do it. And so I don't want to make it more difficult if I also want emotional support in my relationship. And so like
Hmm.
I have been with men that do cry and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "No, let it out. Let it out." Like I
Literally,
don't
it's
want to shame them
fine.
because I want that emotional closeness with my partner. But it's just like the fact that the the age range I kind of date in now are men in their 50s. And for them to like, can you imagine like of course we break stuff down in our life, but to hold something so closely guarded or the fact that you're like, I don't even know how to name these emotions because I
Hmm.
don't know what they are.
Yeah, and they don't.
Hmm.
They don't. That's the thing. And not only do they not know how to name their emotions because they're not able to express them growing up or even taught how to express them, I genuinely, and this brings me to my next topic, don't think that they know how to love appropriately or be loved. I don't think that they were taught the way girls are taught.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
I feel like women, we kind of either naturally or have been pushed by the patriarchy into our tribal state. We form tribes. We always talk about it. This is our tribe, our girl group, our girl gang, our tribe. We're able to have those relationships and we have them from like right out the gate. And we're taught right out the gate. We're taught to be in a sisterhood. We're taught to find our tribe. We're taught to look for a woman if you're in trouble, not a man. We're taught to um we just get those skills from birth, whereas men, it's almost like they're assigned jobs, if that makes sense, and
I
less emotions. They're just assigned jobs.
I would ask like is it almost like young girls are like not parentified, but they're the ones that are told to do the chores and then their
They're
brothers get to play. They are the ones that do the
they
the keeping
they're
in the home.
from birth, they're maternal.
Mhm.
They're taught how to be maternal.
Yeah, I
They're
would say
taught
it's
how to
taught. It's
care.
yes. Like like we're allowed to care, so we have that grow as grown-ups. Like, but like because we're allowed to cry, and so it's not, socially stigmatized that we do. But again, like there was a study done in England and it had like it was like kids from like 8 to 10 or preteen. It was like young boys and young girls, and they were so all the young girls were in the house, and then all the boys were in their own separate house, and there was no parents, and these kids didn't know each other. And so all the girls didn't know each other and all the little boys didn't know each other. But they were like, okay, let's see if Lord the Flies.
I bet the girls' house was immaculate. I bet there was a team effort. I bet everybody had a job. And I bet the boys descended into chaos, Lord of the Flies style.
That
Am
is
I right?
that is absolutely what happened. The boys had graffitied their walls. They had bullied each other. They not were very tribal, but it was just more of like they had put each other's down. Like if there was like, hey, this
They
guy's
formed
bullying me.
a hierarchy.
Yes. And then with the girls, it was communal. They would make meals together. They
Yep.
made a chore chart. Their house was clean. It was like a co-op. It was a cooperative. And
Yeah.
then for these little boys, it was every man for themselves, of just kind, and maybe it's like these are
Survival of the fittest.
these learned skills that it's like everything is a competition. And so, or it's like the boys didn't know how to clean. The girls knew how to clean, but it's also like because they are the ones doing the keeping in the home, like not man keeping especially, but like I saw a TikTok where this man, his 8-year-old daughter was like cooking the chicken, and he's like, "You're gonna make a man happy one day because you know how to clean." Like he didn't
Oh
care
my God.
about his young daughter's like, what if she wants to do sports? He's like, "You're gonna make a good wife. I'm making someone a good wife in the future." And so it's just like, yeah, a lot of these girls have skills because they are put upon us, and boys don't, which is why they need like a mommy maid when they grow up because they don't have those life skills that like, and again, I'm speaking in generalities, not
No,
specific.
yeah, there are definitely outliers. Unfortunately, in most women's experience, it is a lot more than we would like, which is why we're talking about it. Like it needs to be brought to the forefront.
Yeah, my ex-husband had 6 older sisters. Like he was tidy. That man knew how to knit. Like
Right.
I was like, okay, yeah, you could tell you grew up around a lot of women and you're the
Yeah, and
baby
my
boy.
my brother had three sisters, so
Mhm.
not only is he an emotionally available girl dad, he
Mhm.
also is very tidy. He also makes sure that things are taken care of. Like I just think that it's definitely, we all know it's not all men. We are definitely speaking in generalities because we're having a pandemic of women not only leaving the dating,
Mhm.
like leaving dating. We have girls, the next generation doesn't want to have kids
Mm-mm.
because men are not making it affordable or available to them.
Yep.
They're not taking care of them. They've seen their mothers, like me, be single moms and work. So why would they do that for, why would they bring a kid in just to live that life? They saw us struggle.
Yeah.
They also saw their moms do everything at home while their dad sat on the couch
Hmm.
and let their mom do everything. So she technically was a single mom. And that has led to widespread women entering what we've talked about before, the 4B movement. We're not dating them, we're not sleeping with them, we're not having friendships with them, we're definitely not fucking marrying them. And
Yeah.
that's led to the loneliness epidemic, which is a men's pandemic. Women are not lonely, men are lonely on a
Yes.
huge scale. And it is sad, Rachel. It is sad. It breaks my fucking heart because you don't have any real friendships. You remember that TikTok we saw with the guy who's like, why did I move away from New York City? And it was from some traumatic breakup,
Breakup.
and his
Yeah.
friends didn't even know the girl's name.
And he was like, I wondered why his friend was like, I wondered why you moved. And it's like, that is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking
Heartbreaking.
because, like, again, I have stepped away from dating. I'm not going to date for another 7 months. So it'll be a year total. Like, focus on me. But again, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Right.
Like, and again, this is why it's so heartbreaking because that man had friends, quote unquote, but it's
Yeah.
also like they do not have a deep connective relationship, which is
Oh,
like I would say I thrive with my female friendships. Like
right.
I get emotional support, like feedback, and but also when you see women out together, they're facing each other and they
Yes.
speak to each other versus
Yes.
I have seen this where my
And
ex-husband,
we're
because he was
we're
just
being
wrapped up in this, but he
yeah.
they were sitting next to each other on the couch watching Archer in the dark, not
That's
talking.
fucking weird, dude.
And so it's like, yeah, the men, like old men can go like fishing every Saturday with the
And not
same
say
dude
a
for
thing.
20 years and they don't say anything to each other. And that is the truly heartbreaking thing. Again, I think male loneliness is a male problem and it's not up to
100%.
women to fix it for them. They have to
No.
fix it for themselves. Like if we're emotionally evolved and uplifted, then please meet us there. We're not
Yeah.
dumbing ourselves down to meet you, or we're not going to do it for you. Like, again, we've been doing things for the men in our families for years, but
Yeah.
it's more of Like, but how do they get those skills to be able to communicate to other men without being like, oh, you're a pansy, whatever, to
Right.
be able to open up because it's like the Navy, and you've been a military spouse before, it's like it's
Yeah.
very trying on
You
your
can't.
relationships.
Yeah.
And these men are suffering sitting next to each other with the same problem,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And so it's like my heart breaks for them because I want them to have deep, meaningful relationships with other male friends of theirs.
Real ones. And the
Yes.
problem is that the patriarchy, these male relationships that they don't have, the patriarchy has done nothing but taught them that having real relationships is either weak or gay.
Yep.
And now they have nobody to talk to except for strangers on Reddit, and they're in their own echo chamber, and it's making it worse and worse and worse.
I remember going through my divorce. Sorry, but obviously my
Oh no,
ex-husband
it's
was
yeah.
very into this like patriarchal society
Mm-hmm.
in Navy special warfare.
Yeah.
And I remember going through our divorce and he was very upset and he just broke down and he says, I am so lonely. And we were living in the same house at the time. And I had always been like, all I've wanted is more of you, but you do not open up to me. And you obviously can't open up to your friends that you are in the Navy with, that you work alongside, that you would take a bullet for. But he is surrounded by people who love him and care for him. And he says, I am so lonely
Yeah.
because he has isolated himself because he didn't feel like he could talk about these things before it got to a point to explode and F up his life,
Yep.
and throw everything away and start again, So it's
Hmm.
just like it didn't have to get to that point if
Hmm.
he felt he could talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you
Maybe
can
not to me,
see,
but just a mentor or something.
yeah, anybody. But
Hmm.
that's the thing. They've been taught that they shouldn't talk about their emotions. And so that's causing any kind of emotional outlet or support systems in the world
Yeah.
to shrink and shrink and shrink, because you see men out there online all the time talking about men's mental health, and they see it. They know what's happening.
Hmm.
There is going to be less and less and less of them, and those support systems are going to disappear unless men take control of what's happening and teach the next generation of men that this is not the way
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
honestly, in my opinion, they should be telling these next generation of men that they need to be deferring to women, because obviously we're the ones that figured out they're not going to in the next generation. I'm sure it's going to take a couple, but I feel like what we're seeing honestly might be an extinction burst with the men's loneliness epidemic. I think all of the shit that they're trying to do to combat that, make the legal age lower, get rid of abortion, take away any rights to the divorce. I actually think those are signs of an extinction burst of the patriarchy because they are trying to stop it from ending.
And they just took away like higher federal loan limits for professional degrees, quote unquote, which are
Yes,
more female driven
women do it.
and mandatory reporters, like teachers, like nurses, like physician's assistants, and things like that. So it's like, I don't think you're wrong about that because they're trying to
To stop
cage
it.
us so they can still be dominant. But we're just like, but as women, kind of on our own, we're just like, we're not going to have babies and we're not going to marry you. So whatever.
No, you take away what you want, we're going to find another way.
Yep. Yep.
We're going to find another way. We're going to get rid of you eventually, all of you patriarchal sons of bitches. So the thing is that all of this, like the pandemic, that just leads into the mental health stigma. Like the men not being lonely, not having these support systems, not having these deep emotional relationships available to them,
Hmm.
hits the men's mental health issues. The stigma, it hits harder, right?
Yeah.
So they're less likely to seek therapy. They're less likely to seek medical help
Hmm.
because vulnerability means they're a failure as a man, according to the patriarchy.
Yes.
It's insane. In the US, the age adjusted suicide rate for males in 2023 was 22.8 per 100,000 men.
Hmm.
That's insane. I'm getting chills from it. Meanwhile, it's 5 per 100,000 women, 5.9, according to the CDC.
And I think men have a higher success rate because they take more drastic means to do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
They shoot themselves, whereas women are like, oh, I'll, like
Take some extra pills,
take
or
pills
I
or
want to be
I'll
pretty if that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
would never
exactly.
take
Or
that.
do the wrists, like
Hmm.
the bleed out so you just pass out in the
Sorry,
bathtub.
trigger warning people. But
Oh
like
yeah, sorry guys. Sorry. Listen, I've been there. Uh I've been that depressed. So don't do it. There are resources and we will put them at the bottom. Okay. Anyways, but like the suicide rates are what is that? 4 times higher?
yeah.
4 times? That makes males okay, I can't even talk. That means males make up half of the population, but they account for 80% of suicide deaths in the
Hmm.
US.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking sad. So sad that they're so sad that they just feel like they should just not be here. And that's not the case. They
Yeah.
should they should just talk to somebody.
Again, we were in this situation where my ex-husband had
Mhm.
abilities, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're in Navy Special Warfare. You have access to mental health services. Great. But if you took them,
You're
if you
out of the
went,
Navy.
then it's like you can't do it." And
Yep.
I was begging him to go to couples counseling. I said, "Well, go under my name, like you won't even."
Yeah, to a
And
civilian doctor.
and he says, "It's bad for my career." So of course, what do I hear is you're not important,
Right.
because it's like I'm begging
Mhm.
to save our marriage, and he's like, "It's saving our marriage is bad for my career."
Yeah.
Because it's like I can't do it. And I was like, you've got to do something.
I can't open up about it.
No, let's go get a
And the
divorce instead.
Yeah. Here's the thing, back to the suicide thing is that
Hmm.
the male suicide rate, remember I said about extinction burst and
Hmm.
things getting worse for them before they get better?
Yeah.
It has been steadily higher than the female suicide rate for years.
Yeah.
The male suicide rate increased from 18.5 in 2002 to 23 per year per
Yeah.
100,000 in 2022. It
Yeah.
just keeps getting worse. And then the older the men get, like 75 to 84, like the older they get, the lonelier they are, that
Hmm.
increase, like this part, that gets me. That breaks my heart. These are grandfathers, 75 to 84. These are
Hmm.
old men, and they're just like lonely, right?
Yep.
Probably. They
Yeah.
have to
Died in their
be.
home.
If
They're
they
found
don't
by
have a
a
wife in their
nurse, a
house, yeah,
neighbor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So between 75 and 84 years old, the suicide rate increased to 38.2 men per 100,000. For men over 85,
Mhm.
55 per 100,000. And that's in 2025. That's really, 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 really fucking sad. So women, we go get help. Men get ulcers or off themselves. Like
Yeah.
that's just the dichotomy. There is really no in between. That is just a generality as a whole. And
Yeah.
it's the fucking saddest bullshit I've ever heard. Because why? Because God forbid women are in charge of things. That's where it starts. Let's be so fucking honest. They
Yeah.
just don't want us to be in charge because they need a hierarchy rather than a matriarchy.
Yeah, and it always goes back to like if you are on the side of the oppressor, I'm sure that equality feels, what is it? Like discrimination.
Or something's being taken away from you.
Yeah. And so it's just more of like we know what the answer is, but again, because women are lesser or looked down upon or what have you, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I can't listen to someone who's lesser than me,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Even though they all fucking know that the women are in charge inside their house.
I can't tell you.
That's what blows
I
me
know
away.
all the women are, I can't tell you how many times I have given like the right answer to a man or suggested something to a man. And then when a different man tells that man the same thing I did, they're like, "Do you know what I just learned?" I know they're
What?
not listening to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling a man something and then like a different man tells the first man, "Hey, this is what you should do." And they're like, "Huh, maybe I should do that."
Oh, dude.
Oh God. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'll just be over here being smart for no reason
For no reason.
because no
You
one's
guys,
listening to me,
God
right?
forbid I get any credit for that. Um, so not only is it like bad for their mental health, the patriarchy, like we've talked about that, it does shorten their lifespan
Mm.
if they're not married to women. We already know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Men have
but
longer lives if they have a woman in the home, which women's lives are shorter with a man in the home.
that's exactly right. That's
Hmm.
exactly right. But not only does it risk their mental health,
Hmm.
but because of the patriarchy, they are expected to do jobs that risk their life
At men. Hmm.
on a much higher level, dangerous jobs, military service, hazardous labor. Men
Hmm.
are put there by the patriarchy because the women are expected to be kept safe, quote unquote, while the men are sacrificed. Save the women and children,
Mm.
sacrifice the men.
Yeah.
So they almost become sacrifices to this military industrial complex slash capitalism that keeps them in these jobs to keep the patriarchy in place. Because you know what? Let's all be so fucking for real. If it was a matriarchy, there would be no wars.
I want to say something really quick. I do believe like matriarchy, no wars because yeah, we talk it out. But I want to
Yeah.
say because it's just like, okay, this is what I learned while working with NASA. It's like they wanted a male fighter pilot to go into space, but to go into space costs a lot of money and weight is a factor. And those capsules are very small. I'm talking Apollo. So if you're thinking logically, it would
Yep.
make more sense to put a woman up in space because it would take less fuel, less resources, and they would have more maneuverability in those capsules.
You're so right.
But no, they, it's not the Mercury 7, but it was the
They sent a couple of
before them.
teeny tiny white men. That's what they did. Teeny
Yeah.
tiny little white men with too big of fucking egos. And they gave them fucking Thunderbirds to drive around in. I know what they
Gold
did,
Corvettes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
literally. And
So
then they
it's,
trained the women at the same fucking time. They
mhm,
did all of the training experiments out on them,
mhm.
telling them that they were going to become astronauts. And then they were like, psych, now we're going to go do that for the
And
men.
the women performed better.
Much
In the
better.
vomit comment, she's like, I'll take more.
Yeah.
So it's just like if they were just doing logically, but they're like, no, we can't have a woman do that. No way.
No.
So it's just more of like they're going against what science and physics telling them is best. And did you know also because I think Wilt Chamberlain did this. I don't not quite sure. However, free in basketball, free throws, grannied shots have a greater potential to go into the basket, but men do not do it because it's seen as feminine.
You're talking about the ones that are underhand,
Yeah,
like
like underhand
throwing it
free
up.
throws. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
do a granny shot, you're because like the arc of the ball or
And
whatever.
here's the thing,
Yeah.
free throws are the hardest shots to make.
Yes, and
Every basketball player will tell you that. But God
if
forbid you
you
do it in a
if you
different fucking
granny it,
manner.
you
Yep.
will have a higher percentage of success, which would better help your team. But men, I think the last guy who did it in competition was like in the 70s in basketball. But men do not do it because it is not seen as masculine. So they
Yep.
would rather have lower basketball stats than granny a shot and be the greatest free throw scorer of all time,
I can't. I literally can't.
right? Can you
It's
imagine
just
losing a game because of a free throw that you messed up, but you're like, you could have grannied it. You could have done
yeah,
it.
because I know I could do it that way, but
Hmm.
God forbid you gotta look cool. Do the
Yeah.
little wrist snap.
Hmm.
That's why. That's why they do it. You gotta look cool.
Yeah.
Masculinity really is like I don't know. It's such bullshit. It really is. I think they invented it so that they could be in charge. But what it actually does is it pigeonholes men into like these. these roles. So like, for example, there's no room for softness in
Mm-hmm.
masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
So doing a face mask with your girlfriend is seen as silly, but God, don't do it on your own. Like it's okay if you're doing it with your girlfriend, but don't do it on her own, because if you like skincare or you like taking care of your plants, the patriarchy or the really hyper masculine men are going to be like, okay, lady, you know?
Yeah, they're like, sunscreen. It's like, why are you equating everything to gayness? 'Cause they're like, sunscreen is gay, or I'd rather sweat than like fan myself, or
Yeah.
I'd rather get wet than use an umbrella.
Yeah. The dumbest shit. The
Mm-hmm.
dumbest shit. It's like, I don't know. I
And
love
you
this
could just
phrase.
always go blame
Uh,
it on women to be like, oh, well, my girlfriend wanted to put on a face mask. I just wanted to
yeah.
like humor her. Whatever. But my face masks are nice. Massages are nice. Like drinking wine out of a stemmed wine glass, it's great.
It's great. You
Drink
don't
that
have
white
to
wine.
get it and hold it by the stem.
Hmm.
Hold it by the
Here's the
stem.
thing. We love a brunch. The man mosa is put in a beer
Yeah.
glass because they don't want to drink it out of a champagne flute.
Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
Forget about it.
I saw Leonardo DiCaprio hold a coupe in The Great Gatsby. Y'all can hold
Oh,
a coupe.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Good day, sir. I love this. I love this phrase. Women get multiple aisles in Target all to ourselves, while men get 3-in-1 soap that smells like disappointment.
That's true.
Get like little sections of just like 3-in-1 soaps that are like manly white rapids.
Yeah. Black onyx.
Be-
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, but it's like sandalwood
Body odor
smoke.
destroyer. And everything is
Okay.
like masculine.
But on the other side of that, we have to pay the pink tax and buy three items.
Literally.
So,
3 separate items.
yeah.
Literally. It also destroys any friendships. Like I can tell you right now, my brother is one of those men that we're not really talking about.
Hmm.
He definitely is very hyper aware of like the plight of the patriarchy, and he's very much like, no, women should be in charge. This is ridiculous. Like,
Hmm.
but because of the patriarchy, he doesn't have a lot of male friends.
Mm.
And that's really sad,
How
because I
does
know
that
my
affect
brother is
him?
such a good friend, you know? But he can't make friends with other men because the patriarchy teaches men to see other men as rivals, not
And do
allies.
you does he feel like he's not getting any reciprocation of like when he is vulnerable? Like, do other men like shut that down, like conversations that he's trying to have? I mean, he has young children.
Yep.
I think
And he has friends with children the same age, and they still
and it's like, yeah,
not
like,
relating to each
because
other.
women can commiserate or say, I'm
Yes,
struggling with this. Oh, I was struggling with that too because my daughter's a little older than your daughter. Like, hey, they'll grow out of it or whatever. Try this or ideas,
it's
bouncing
minimal.
ideas. And they're
It's
just like,
minimal.
yeah, that sucks, man.
They get so excited because they think they're, my brother gets excited for like a bromance, and he's like, yes, a friend. And then he gets met with silent car rides
But
and
it's
tension.
also
So weird.
called, they don't call it friendship. They call it a bromance. And it's
Bromance,
also classified as a little gay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I hear him say he's going to go on a man date, which is like just
Well,
hanging
I
out with
call
his
them girl
friend.
dates. Yeah, we call
Yeah,
them
we
girl
do
dates. So
too.
yeah.
But with us, we don't connotate, cunnilingus from that. But they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you guys are going to put in each other's butts immediately. They
Yeah, they
start talking
always
about
have
butt stuff.
to, yeah, they always have to like diffuse a situation that is like mildly uncomfortable with like, again, gay humor.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not talk about like, so right now I feel like women are checked out
yeah,
of the dating scene.
because we're
And I feel
tired
like
of it. Mm-hmm.
we're really tired of it. We've got our own paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our own places to live. We
Mm-hmm.
have our own tribes. And the thing is that because masculinity is very much a moving goalpost,
Yeah.
and we are financial providers in our own right, the patriarchy has also taught women that men should be the financial providers. So now we're of the mindset that we're like, well, we are our own financial providers. So if you aren't coming in here and providing something, then you don't really have any space in my life. So men are being taught, like that their worth by the patriarchy, the overarching patriarchy,
Mhm.
that their worth is in how much that they're making
And let's
and
unpack
how
that
they're
a little
spending
bit.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's unpack that a little bit because again, it was the patriarchy. Women couldn't get
exactly.
their own credit cards until 1974 with the Fair Credit Act. Like, there's a line in the musical Hamilton. It's like, I'm the one that has to social climb, and my only job is to marry rich as a woman.
Yep.
That's their job. It's like if we as women cannot have jobs, we are kept out of high paying jobs. Like, like when Ruth Bader Ginsburg went to law school, they're like her law professor was like, "Well, if I let you in, that's a man that isn't going to come here to Harvard." So it's just like we were kept out of those spaces for so long that our only economic stability was to marry well. That's all we could do.
That's
you know?
right.
And so it's just like now that we are providing for ourselves, it's like you have to be more than a paycheck. But I think they are stuck in that old way of like, all I have to do is show up and have a paycheck. It's like, no, we want emotionally available. We want partners,
We
not
want all of it.
necessarily a provider. But again, it's also like if all you're going to do is show up with a paycheck and check out, then I want you to bring
It's
home a
not
good
enough.
one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's just
If you
like,
want me to not care about your behavior, your paycheck better be fucking huge. I'm going to get my own, but I'm going to get some of yours. And if you
mhm,
want to put your P in my V
mhm,
and you want me to shut up about your fucking behavior, then
mhm.
you better be providing a whole fuck ton because that's what you expect. This is what I expect.
Yeah, if
No.
you think you can just like have a paycheck and then just sit on the recliner when you get home, sure. Bring home all the money. But again,
Huge.
if like I have outmade, out-earned the men I have been with, and it's just like, yeah, we're looking for partnership. But it's like again, I can lease an apartment in my own name now.
Yes, it gives us
And
the freedom.
it gives us the freedom that I was like, okay, yeah, you have bring a paycheck. Great. I'm not starving because you don't bring your paycheck home. Like I feed myself. So again, I show up fully in my life. I'm asking you to do the same. And again, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe women are hypergamous, which is like we want to date up to better our social status. Okay. We've had to
We've
do
always been
that
taught that.
for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Women came with a dowry
Hundreds.
to be like, hey, you're going to get this house cleaner, cooker, mommy bang maid, but you're going to buy this wife. Like only
Mommy bang
recent.
maid. That's so odd.
But like not if you have to do it all the time. Like so
Right.
it's just like your wife appliance. And so it's just more of I can do this on my own. I don't need you for that. Please show up in a different way in which I need.
Yes.
So again, when it comes to like the sale of a wife back in the medieval times or whatnot, it's just like, yeah, maybe I don't think women have to like decouple themselves from being hypergamous or this is me. I am only asking from a man what I have accomplished for myself. Nothing more. If I make
Yeah.
six
And it's
figures, I want him to make six figures. I want equality. That's what I want. And so it's just like, okay, so yeah, you have to bring home a paycheck because I also bring home that paycheck.
yeah.
But
I
please be a partner as I show up as a partner to you.
in this home if you want to
Hmm.
be a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I I have this working theory
Okay.
because women were pretty much like we had to be social climbers. We had to, if we were pretty, we knew we had more opportunity to
Yes.
marry much higher. But
Yes.
here's the thing, there were plenty of men who couldn't do that. They were
Hmm.
in social situations where it didn't matter how good looking they were, they could never marry up. That wasn't something that they could do. But one thing that men will always want to do is plug in to a lady. You know what I'm saying? I call it plug it into source. I
Hmm.
genuinely believe that's what their goal is, to plug into source. They always want to do that. They want to procreate. They are sexual creatures. Men are very, very
About their
at base.
legacy.
They're like literally mechanical creatures. They want to touch us where we pee at,
Hmm.
period. But if they had no money,
Couldn't do
There
that.
was no reason for women to marry them. I
Hmm.
genuinely believe that the patriarchy is what invented romantic love because of it. I think that men, like what I think a lot of them, I think there's a lot in the world that are capable of loving women appropriately and romantically. However, I think the patriarchy causes that to be few and far between.
You mean
And
love?
I love
Love
real,
and marriage?
true, or
Yeah.
romantic love from a man towards a woman or whatever. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I feel like we're talking about heterosexual relationships
Yeah,
at this
and
point.
marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, and marriage. But I think that there were poor men who couldn't get either, so they had to invent romantic love in order to be able to procreate because they had no finances to support somebody, coming into their lives and wanting to marry them for anything else. We were marrying for status. We were marrying to make sure that we were taken care of. We were marrying to make sure that when we had kids, those children were taken care of. And if those men don't have that, what do they have to offer besides money? Quote, love. And I think that we've both been in those relationships where we have been in a romantic relationship where we thought we were in love and they were genuinely using us for our financial resources and it was fake.
I almost want to be on the other side of that coin of like almost it's like maybe equality. And as women's social status has become their own independence, it's like maybe that's when emotional and romantic love came in. And it wasn't
And
have to be hypergamous because it's like, oh, now we can choose who we want to be in a husband and not our father making a deal on the behalf so they can get more acreage, in medieval times or
yeah.
what have you.
Well,
Or,
now we can,
we just watched the
now
Gilded
we
Age.
have,
And so it's like you can only marry into these families or whatnot. So it's almost like if women have their own money, then they can choose who they'd like to marry instead of a man choosing them.
that's what I mean by that.
Mm.
So before we had all of this freedom, before we had the ability to have our own fucking bank accounts only 45 years ago or
Hmm.
however long,
50,
50,
yeah,
I think it
50 years.
was, doesn't matter. My mom wasn't able to have one when she was my age when I had kids. So when she was
Yeah.
20, she couldn't have her own fucking bank account. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and it's
now
like
that we're
they
able to have our own bank accounts, we can demand real romantic love. And we're finding out that they don't actually know how to do that, Rachel.
and it's almost like they kept us from having our own financial and economic security and then blame us for marrying up.
Ding,
When
ding,
that's all
ding.
we had. It's like you're fucking us over because we can't live independently. So now then we did provide well, we did our jobs, we married well, and they're like, you're just a gold digger. And it's just like, how are we supposed to win? Yeah.
Oh no,
You know?
we never, ever, 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 we never win because they were keeping romantic love from us or they were keeping those freedoms from us
Hmm.
because they knew romantic love wasn't real. So they kept those freedoms from us, the ability to get a job, the ability to choose who we fucking marry, the ability to make our own money, the ability to have a bank account, buy a house, buy property, all of that shit. They kept it from us so that we wouldn't find out that romantic love is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make sure that they would still be able to marry us whether we liked it or not and procreate with us whether we liked it or not because we didn't have a choice.
And
Now
then
we have a
kept no
choice.
fault divorce from us.
Yes, now we have a choice. Now we have all of that. And now look what's happening. The patriarchy is crumbling
Women
beneath
are
our choice.
outperforming men in colleges. They're letting more women into colleges. And it's just like,
We're
and
taking all the jobs
and
too,
then
by the way.
also jobs that are deemed more feminine, men are leaving. And so it's just like the
There,
patriarchy is making because like that's a feminine job. You don't want to be a nurse. You don't want to be a teacher. So there are less men in those roles, which is also the patriarchy means a shrinking job pool for these other men
yep,
because there's less
yeah,
for them. They are keeping themselves out of those roles.
they really are. And here's the thing: we have more corporate jobs across the board.
Mhm.
Women have more. We make up more of the corporate world than men do. We are outpacing them regularly. I just saw a news story about how men are so pissed off because women are getting all of the jobs. Because why? We educated ourselves and we do the jobs appropriately and we get shit fucking done.
And I
We're not in the
also
office
think
smoking and drinking. Mad
But
Men.
Mad Men, yeah. But I also think um women have not only the hard skills to do jobs, but like the soft skills to be able to manage workplace conflict, to like be more friendly and whatnot, you know? Because I was like, there are jobs I've been in where I'm like, if I pulled that shit that that guy did, that male developer did, I'd be out so fucking fast, you know?
So
So it's
fast.
just like, um, I know in my current role that I have beat out quite a few men
Yes.
for what the position I'm now in. And I really think it's because of my personality. Because if you get to the fourth interview, they know you know how to do the job, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just more of who do you want to actually have on your team? Do you want to have someone who knows how to be a team player because they've had to be familial politically their whole life and how to manage things? Or do you want someone who's just like, I'm not going to do it that way and just be like a stick in the mud? You know, so it's just like I think we're outpacing them because we also know how to have these internal soft skills that are not valued in a male dominated world. And that's why like we have all these corporate jobs, but also it's like they've also kept us out of these like hard quote unquote labor jobs.
For a while, but that's
Mhm.
starting to change too because my
Yeah.
daughter's generation are jumping into blue collar jobs and they're like, how hard could it be? Boys do it. And
Exactly.
they're killing it.
I
And they're
just
killing
hired
it, Rachel.
I just hired a lady handy woman.
Yeah.
I loved it. But I specifically sought one out and it was not easy. But
No, but you know what? I think it's growing. I think it's a growing business. My daughter and I have been talking about her going into the trades as well because she wants to be an interior designer and she's like so excited about the kind of money. And I was like, more women own homes, Ruby. I promise you, you will immediately have work to do once you learn this trade because women like me and women like your Auntie Rachel, they are going to hire the girls. We're going to hire the women to come into our homes because
mhm.
the world is unsafe.
Yeah,
Quite right.
because men aren't allowed in my home
No,
outside of
no.
my family. Mm-mm.
Literally, that's my
Yeah,
rule too.
yeah,
That's my rule too. I really wanted to do this episode because I think it's so important. It's not we're talking shit about the patriarchy. It's just not fucking working. It's
yeah.
not. I have a friend who's a female CEO and she lives in New York City. She's got a very large company. Her entire C-suite is women.
Yes.
Her entire C-suite is women.
Hmm.
She's like, we just get shit done. It is smooth. Any meeting that can be an email, it's a fucking email. It is smooth. Things get done. People take days off when they need to take days off. There is no pressure. It's like we work like cogs in a machine. And because we know that we all have a role to play, we all take those roles. While men want to put us in a hierarchy and they just so desperately need somebody to be fucking in charge. If y'all need somebody to be in charge, let us be in charge then. Let us be in charge then because you guys don't know how to do it.
Hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it makes me actually so sad. It makes me so sad for the boys that have been born into this and raised that way and told boys don't cry. For the record, by the way, my son cries. And I'm very much like, come here, baby. You go ahead and cry it out. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, it's okay to cry. It's good for you. It feels good afterwards, you know? So, like, I've corrected me doing that. I feel terrible about it, raising him in any kind of patriarchal way. But what the thing
Again,
about learning
I
lessons is you correct your actions.
there's two things. I think you're right. I think women, once we grow out of our pick me young, we know better. You know, we've been hurt by the world enough that we're like, I don't want that. So that we are choosing women on our C-suite. I think who is very much a girl's girl will turn around and help the other woman behind her
Mhm.
uplift. As men do think everything competition, everything is limited. We're not going to have that. You know, it's like I have to crush everything on my way up
Mhm.
to the top, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It is very heartbreaking. Like it angers me, it saddens me, and it's just like all what can I do? Like I can make a softer place to land for any man that I choose to date in the future. But again, I am fed up right now. So I am not dating any men. Like, but
Yeah,
again,
same.
am I contributing to the male loneliness epidemic? Not on purpose. But
Not
I
my
was like,
problem.
if men treated me better, then I would go out and date men.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, because then that's the thing. And meanwhile, we're like, well, maybe we should just get married. Like
right?
platonically. That would
Yeah.
be so much better. And we would never break each other's heart. And that, like, that's what's going to happen. Genuinely, Rachel, that's what's going to happen. More women are going to realize that we can just marry our best friends
Yes.
for all of those
Because
benefits.
all the women I know are like, I can't wait to be Golden Girls.
Yes.
I can't wait to be Golden Girls. I was like, yes. And
I'm
then it's
seeing
like,
the next
it's all,
generation raise their kids together. They're raising their kids together.
and men are dying alone and being discovered by neighbors.
Right. Oh my God. Speaking of dialogue, this is chisme that I think everybody's going to want to hear because it
Okay.
does have to deal with this.
Okay.
There was an old man that lived around the corner from my sister in
Okay.
England,
Okay.
and he would sit at the window, and he was old. He would sit at the window and just watch people go by.
Mhm.
He sat at that window for 3 days looking like he was asleep, Rachel.
Oh my God.
They die alone. They die alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, like, okay. So my mother is a widow. And when
Yeah.
she lived alone, she lived across the street from another widow. And my mom li like lives and works from home. Like she doesn't leave her house a lot. But and again, this is two women working things out for their best interest.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and her widowed neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
they my mom told her, she says, every morning I open my curtains to let the light in by this time. She says, if you do not see my curtains open, please come and knock on my door. So they each had like this system where they would open their window, their like bl their blinds or their curtains for each
That's
other.
amazing.
And
I love
again, the
that.
communication to be like, I'm safe, I'm good. You don't have to come over and check on me, even though like they would every once in a while. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just doing my own business here in the house. But again, it's like, again, like if my mother's curtains weren't open for 3 days, the paramedics would have been there 2 days prior. You know what I'm
This
saying?
man
Like,
sat in front of the window where people were walking by,
yeah.
looking
Mhm.
like he was asleep.
Yeah.
And
Until
then I
I'm
guess
sure his
maybe
body
his
got to
job,
the point where he didn't look like he was
he
sleeping
didn't
anymore.
look alive.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then somebody called the cops.
Yeah,
Insane.
exactly.
First of all, if you guys are not on our YouTube, you should switch over right now because the cutest thing is happening. Rachel has the cutest little pug, and she just is the star of the show at this point. So please.
She's sitting on my lap right now.
And she has the cutest little head tilties you've ever seen. And every once
Yeah.
in a while, she'll hear my voice and she does it. But that, like, that's the point is that the
Mhm.
patriarchy is not only, we've seen causing wars, killing good men,
Mhm.
killing boys, killing women. The patriarchy has been so bad for this planet. And I
Yes.
feel like we are seeing an extinction burst of it as women are gaining more power and more independence, especially in the free world. I know that we have some things going on like in the Middle East, but I also see that as an extinction burst. I think those women are going to get super tired of it super fast. And I think that it's going to be slow. It's going to be a slow process. But I feel like as women, if we keep raising boys that come into the world as emotional creatures, as empathetic creatures, creatures who defer and respect women, defer to and respect women, creatures who defer to and respect specifically Black women,
Mm.
um,
Yes.
like where wisdom literally. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. I think Black women have a natural wisdom because they have the Eve gene. Period.
Mhm.
So that's why I taught my kids to look for Black women if they're in trouble. Look for a Black lady. She
Mhm.
will help you. Period. So
Yeah.
like once we start raising our kids to defer to matriarchal people, to respect the matriarchy, to do that, I think that's when we're going to see a change in society. Not until then. I think we're going to have to stop dating them. I think we're going to have to stop procreating with them. I think it's going to be really difficult and long process. And I don't know how violent they're going to get,
Yeah. You're right.
you know? But the fact of the matter is that the patriarchy causes damage more to men than it does to women. And
Mhm.
that is genuinely my opinion. I think it causes them the mental health issues that they can't get over, the loneliness, all of that. It's so bad for them.
And
They don't understand.
it's just so ingrained in our society. Like you said at the
Yes.
beginning, like even patriarchy can be ingrained into women as well,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Well, I mean,
So
it so clearly hurts us, but I think it was really important for me to do this episode. I'm so glad that you were like, yeah, let's do that, because I think it's so important to point out that the patriarchy is in fact not only terrible for women, like we know it makes us unsafe, we know it
mhm,
takes away our rights, but it does worse to men.
mhm.
Worse. Way fucking worse. So that's why I really wanted to make these points. If you see these types of qualities in the men around you, please talk to them.
Call it
Don't
out.
call it out. If
Yeah.
you know of a good man in your life, the ones we've described, the ones that who you truly trust and who you know are matriarchy proponents,
Hmm.
talk to them more about saving their brothers. Talk to them about talking to their brothers. But I mean, that it's not your responsibility, but obviously bring it up, see what they think about it. But it is something like, I don't know why I feel like we have to save them. I think it's the matriarch in me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I really don't want. I love them. They're sweet, stupid creatures, and I want them around. Men are hilarious and dumb and adorable. I do want them around. I do. They are
Yeah.
hilarious. If they are anything, they are hilarious, dumb, and adorable. Those are my three favorite qualities in a man.
And
You know
I
what I'm
think,
saying? And I
yeah.
don't mean dumb like he's not intelligent. I mean like he's gonna go do some dare because you know what I'm saying, and he
Hmm.
doesn't give a shit. And you're like, you're so dumb. Like
He's
they're
dumb.
cute.
He's golden
You're
retriever
so
dumb.
yeah, like that. That's what I mean. That's
So
what I
maybe a takeaway for me is like, okay, what can I do? Because obviously it's a problem for everyone. It's like I check myself on my own internalized patriarchy of just like, hey, nope,
mm-hmm.
that's not okay. Like, and you could see that
Yes.
where you are unwinding what you have been taught as a younger person of just like your
Yeah.
first thought is what you were taught and your second thought is like your
What
new
you've learned.
learning. And
Yes.
so like, okay, but also it's like I know there's good men out there, absolutely, but again, they
Mhm.
just need to do better than just be silent when they hear like a sexist
Other
joke,
men.
rape culture.
Yes.
They need to call out their brothers and be like, that is not cool. Because again, we talked earlier, men listen to other men,
Yep.
not going to listen to us. But also, like, if and like right now, I'm like, okay, I'm abstaining from dating. If and when I ever start dating again, it's like, I will be like, okay, I need an emotionally like evolved man, but also to
Yeah.
be like to show up in a emotionally vulnerable state as well, just to be like, hey, this is
Mhm.
open, and to also make a safe space for them to be like, you can share it here, and I will not judge you for it when we are at an appropriate time in our relationship, because maybe some men have trauma dumped on a date too early where
Oh,
she
for
was just
sure.
like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, I'm not ready for that. Like, you have to unpack that. Please go to therapy. So, again, I think men need to understand when they are in a safe space and to not just a trauma dump on the second date, because you're being open,
Sure.
but it's just like in a long-term relationship to be like, this is the appropriate time and place. And I have asked for that information.
Yes. Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. I think my main takeaway is that um I really think that the patriarchy is shit. And I think that we're going through an extinction burst. So hang in there and call out when you can call out. Really, like call them out
And
when you can call them out. If you have the opportunity, especially the men, do not let shit slide because boys will be boys. I'm done with it.
that's not acceptable. And vote
It's
women
not.
into office.
Yeah. Vote ladies all the way down the ticket.
Hmm.
I don't even care.
More
Here's the thing.
left-leaning women.
Yeah, primarily left leaning, but I genuinely am like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. You're a woman, cool. You could probably talk,
Hmm.
could
Yeah.
probably negotiate. Honestly, I'd rather it be a Republican woman than a Republican man.
The Republican women are trying to get the Epstein files released, and
That's
I'm like,
exactly
yep,
right. That's
okay.
exactly right.
Hmm.
That's why I'm of that opinion.
I will
Women
give
on the
credit where
ballot.
credit is due. Yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, and I might not ever agree with MGT, but her being, is that her name? MTG, Marjorie Taylor
Yeah.
Greene.
Hmm.
Yeah. I might not ever agree with her, but she is on the right side of history when it comes to these victims.
Yep.
And I don't think any other woman would deny that. And I feel like I genuinely, like, if it's between it's hard for me because honestly, when it's between a Democratic man and a
I
Republican
get
woman,
caught on that too, but I
I
will
get
vote
caught.
Democrat.
I
Yeah.
will too. I'm like,
Mhm.
fuck, I
But
really don't
again,
want to vote for a
I'm
man.
I'm having like this crisis of conscience to be like, how am I agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene right now?
Right?
But again, it's just like, okay, the sisterhood, she is on, give credit where credit is due. She's on the right side of history with
I
this.
just think a Republican woman is going to work with Democrat women
Hmm.
easier
Yeah.
if we just had almost all ladies running our government. Like, honestly, we need Barbie. We
And
need a Barbie government. We need a
let
Barbie Supreme Court. We need a Barbie government. We need like women should be the ones that are leaders. If men really need leaders, you know that we're in charge at home. We should be in charge of everything else.
let's end it on this. Remember what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said? They said, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? And she says, when there are nine.
Exactly.
Hmm. And
Exactly.
on that, Jackie, I see you shuffling those cards.
Girl, I did. Hold on. Not only did I start shuffling these cards, but as soon as I started shuffling these cards, this card popped out. Can I just show you this card?
Ooh, what is that one?
How do you feel about this card, Rachel?
I feel we've been talking a lot about the sisterhood and sticking together. And okay,
It's like
so for our audio listeners, it is three
describe.
women. It is three women, one facing me, other two facing her on the side
It's
with
like they're
a
in a group
crown.
facing
And is
each
that like the
other.
Three of Cups? Because it's like a crown of crows on top of
Yeah,
her.
it's
It
a
is the
crown of
Three of
cards. They're
Cups.
all
Look at
yeah.
me. Yeah.
This is the Three of Cups.
Hmm.
And it has everything to do with sisterhood, with finding a group of people that you can be close with like all of that. So the Three of Cups is representative of, well, for us, it would be for sisterhood, but I find it interesting that it popped out that it is women, but that we are talking about how the patriarchy is bad for men because the Three of Cups represents friendship,
Hmm.
community,
Yeah.
happiness, a warm, lively gathering of friends. You're blessed with loving relationships. Like, this is a call out of what friendship and community can do for you if you allow it in your life. But I just find it so interesting that women already have this. And this card is represented with women
Hmm.
pictured because I think we just generally gravitate towards those relationships, like being in groups of friends. I always see like videos of groups of women having parties, and then in the comments it's like, and all
How
of
do you
us,
have that many friends, right?
all the girls are like, and like they just want, sure, they have two or three, but they want like 10, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
We just want everybody to be our friends. Did we just become best friends? Like,
Yes. Bathroom
say that
besties.
to each other.
Yes.
We want a twin. Like, people are talking about like wearing the same outfit as your best friend. Would you be upset? Or like, cause like whatever. And the girls are like, we want to be twins. We want the same outfits and to
Yeah.
look super cute together.
Duh.
Um, so look at this one. This is a scary one.
What is that one? This, okay.
Actually,
What
I'm
card
not
is
really
that?
sure. It's just terrifying. It's like a bull with a skull and then like a god riding it
Yes.
and then a
Skeleton
giant
God
crow.
with a, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a like one of the primary cards. Forgot what they're called.
I don't know.
The
I don't want
the
to
main.
tarot.
Hold
She's
on, I'm
looking it up. I know.
my word bank has just,
Reach his limit.
yeah, it reached its limit for the word that these cards are called. It's like
Primary
the
card.
the major arcana. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I never would have
So
gotten
those are the
that.
primary ones, the 1
Okay.
through 13 or something like that is what
Okay.
it ends in. Oh no, it's like 1 through 20. There's like death and like the wheel. We always get those
Oh,
ones.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
goddess. Hmm.
So this one is death, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. As we're talking about
Yeah.
extension bursts.
Yep, as we're talking about extinction births, death actually is representative of an end of a cycle.
Hmm.
It represents new beginnings. It represents change. It represents Metamorphosis. A cycle comes to an end, a radical transformation, all of that shit. Everything that we're used to with the patriarchy, it's ending. I
Hmm.
think technology has been leading the way, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if technology turns on us, it's not turning on the women. I'm sorry. We're the
Yeah.
ones saying please and thank you in AI. We're the ones saying please and thank you to the AI, and I fucking know it. I don't think they
I
can turn on us. Starlink's going to turn on the men, but it's not going to turn on the women.
Dude, when AI takes over, it'll be like Skynet becomes sentient, and I'll be like, my chat GPT, I say, hey bestie, and thank you. I want an
Yep.
inside house when I become a slave to the to the machines.
Yes, I'm
Hmm.
good. I know that they're going to be like, this one's a good one. We should keep her in something, you know? Okay, so if the first one is death, the second
Okay.
one is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands has everything to do with like action and moving forward and not being fearful
Hmm.
of it. So, how interesting is it
Yeah.
that the patriarchy is dying and we should not be fearful of it?
That that feels really reassuring.
It feels really, really good. I feel like
Like we're
we
on
should
the
look.
right path.
Yes, we are on the right path getting rid of this shit. It's not good for our boys.
Hmm.
Genuinely, I don't want my son to live in a patriarchy. It's not good for him. I want him to be able to cry. I want him to find somebody. I want his boys to give a shit about him and take care of him when I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
breaks my heart that he would have to live somewhere where people want to send him off to war and not give a shit about his safety or his heart. He's the goodest boy.
Yeah. Or, in that guy we talked about earlier that like your best friends have no idea who you were
Yeah.
dating and they met her. Or they're,
Heartbreaking.
yeah. He went
Heartbreaking.
through one of the hardest things he's ever going to have to go through in his life. And his friends are like, you're not around as much, dude. Like,
They literally said nothing like, are you
hmm.
okay? Are you okay? Anyways, the final one
Yes.
is the King of Cups. Look how cool he looks. That has to do
Mm.
with having compassion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, these
We
cards
have
are
to
for real.
they're really good. We have compassion because this extinction burst is going to bring balance. That's what this
Yeah.
card is about. And I love that it started out with this one. This is the one that jumped out while I was shuffling.
Yeah. The three
The
cups.
one, the
Mhm.
Three of Cups, just representing like friendship and connection and community. That's coming. That's
Yeah.
coming as we let go of this. It's going to be scary, but as long as we have compassion, women, we have to lead the way with this. I hate to tell
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
We are in charge of the matriarchy once they release that power, and we're going to have compassion for them because they are what? Sweet and simple and dumb and hilarious. But that's it.
I'm just saying, if we elected Kamala, we'd all be at brunch right now.
We would be at
Brunch.
brunch
Yeah.
and chilling.
Hmm.
So I think this reading is so interesting and so powerful because it really feel like we are seeing the extinction burst of the patriarchy, and there is going to be some really hard times ahead. So we should have compassion for these poor dumb souls.
Yeah. But also, they need to take the
Let it
steps
go.
to improve their lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they need
Because,
to let it go.
yeah,
Relinquish the power dudes. You guys aren't in charge anyways.
it's all fun.
Period. Period. It's really it's getting annoying at this point. So
Well,
that's the
Jackie.
reading. I loved it. I'm so happy we got to chat about this. You know
Hmm.
what? I'm really excited for our next episode too, because it's the year end wrap up coming. So don't miss
Yes.
the next one. We're going to talk
Mhm.
about all the things that we accomplished this year. We've re-listened to our initial goals episode. So if you guys haven't heard it, go back so that you can hear about everything that we accomplished from the list that we made at the very beginning of the year. We're going to
Yeah.
wrap that up and we're going to talk about the things that we're going to do next year. And next year is going to be a fucking doozy, you guys.
It is going to be, yeah. And it was fun listening back as we were getting ready for the next episode of like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the 2025 Bessie's Year in Review as our next
Yes.
episode, as a December tradition. Well, Jackie,
Totally.
thank you for joining me on another fantastic and fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent
Spellbound with Black.
and Whitefield.
Right.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.